All right, there we go. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Get Growing weekly work session with GetOiling. I am Coach Ashley, and today we are joined by founders Amanda and Greg Kilwine. Say good morning.
Hey, everyone.
Good morning, everyone.
Awesome. We are excited to share with you guys some really exciting updates today. We're going to kind of change things up a little bit. We're not going to do a lot of pre-prepared like training slides. We've been doing a lot of that lately, but today we are going to walk through some very exciting stuff that Greg has been hard at work building into the GetOiling system. And then we will also take your questions and take some questions that were submitted ahead of time to work with you guys one-on-one on getting the context, the assistance, and really the strategies together to grow your business. So if this is your first time, we welcome you. We're excited to have you here as a part of our community. If you have questions and you want our help and you would like for us to work with you one-on-one today, I want to ask you, if you're here live, to go ahead and go over to the Q&A and go ahead and type out your questions there. And of course, those of you who submitted ahead of time, we will get to you as well. So let's, I want to go ahead and get started. We will go through some of these really exciting updates that we have in the system. And I want to kick it over to Greg, who is going to actually demo and show you on the screen these exciting new features in the system.
Thanks, Ashley. Let me share out my screen here, and hopefully I got the right window or click the button properly. There we go. Okay. Can you see the screen?
Yeah,
sure can.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So I'll start out with this. I mean, I think we did mention this a week or two ago, but it's definitely worth mentioning again. We have the holiday catalogs now for, I think it's the US and Australia. Are the ones I've found. If you're in any other country and you happen to run across them, let me know. I can get that updated. This is the US website here. So yeah, exciting stuff in that regard. It was good to get those on there. I hear there's a bunch of really cool products. I know we've ordered some of them and they're great. So it's cool to see this time of the year. Yeah, so next up is kind of more of the kind of jumping into the back office a little bit. That's where we get, that's where we're going to see some of the rest of these changes. So one of the features we have in the system is texting, and there's a couple different types of texting. There's the built-in texting that comes with every plan that allows you to send texts but not receive them. Then we have our two-way texting, which allows you to get your own phone number so you can send and receive text and do a whole bunch of other things. But we've recently expanded this to include, so like right now, if you click on chat, which I think chat shows up for everybody, this allows you to activate. But you can, what chat does is it lets you chat one-on-one with people. So you can say like, oh, I want to chat with, and then you find client, and it pulls up that. And what we changed here is the chats. If you have two-way texting, the chats here no longer use marketing credits. The incoming texts have always been free, but now this kind of frees you up so that you don't have to worry about, oh, I ran out of marketing credits, so I can't follow up, send me over to my personal phone or whatever. So you can continue to chat one-on-one through this chat feature. There's unlimited texting through the chat feature one-on-one here if you have two-way texting, which is really, I think, nice. There's also added unlimited calling. I think previously there was 600 minutes. Nobody's ever really gone over that. So now we have unlimited. So that's unlimited calling, which you can do through your contact manager. If I pull up somebody, quick view on that, there's a little call button. You can click that and it will connect to them. So yeah, that's exciting. The unlimited texting through the chat feature. Of course, if you send out bulk texts or any text through the contact manager, those continue to use the marketing credits as they did before, but that'll free you up a little bit of your credits for more marketing purposes. So also with the texting now, this is kind of a cool thing. Whoops, wrong link. So if I click text, you can add up to 10 pictures to send with your message at the same, it uses the same number of marketing credits as would one picture. So now as you click, and this is the demo library, so there's all sorts of interesting stuff in here, including spinning donuts, but so I keep myself entertained. But you can add multiple images now, you know, whatever they might be here, and then your recipient will get them all in one. And you can click on it to remove it if you've accidentally put one, or because the order does show up that way in, you know, in a text. And as always, you can schedule them in advance. You can, you know, send it now, or, you know, this can be done through campaigns as well. You'll notice that the same multi-picker is in campaigns, so you can actually set up texting campaigns that have multiple images, which is really cool. And Gwen asks, related to this, can you send videos with a text message? Sort of yes and no. You can't send like a proper video file, like if you have a movie file sitting on your disk. But we did also add at the same time, which is actually my next item here, we did add animated GIF support. We do recommend only sending the animated GIF if you're going to send it, because it's bigger and sometimes it looks super grainy if you try to send it with other pictures. But like right this, if I want to take my little spinning donut here and send it to somebody, I can do that. It'll send it. So it's sort of like a video. And I know there are some online tools, I think, to convert videos into these animated GIFs, or sometimes people call them GIFs, but it's GIF is the word if you want to look that up. But you know, there's a lot of services that will do that, and there's some pre-made ones too, and you've probably seen them on Facebook, some little animations, that sort of thing. So that's a great way for an eye catcher. There's, you know, the tool creators that I've seen online, there are, you know, a variety of different ones. Like some will do, Gwen asked about sending screen videos showing them a login or sign up. That's something you have to experiment with to see. You might have better luck in that case if it's like a full screen share and you have to see like the high resolution. I'd suggest maybe making a video, or, you know, actual screen share of that. Use the Zoom that's built into GetOiling, and then record that, put it on YouTube or wherever, and then send a link to that, like, hey, this is how you do that. That would probably be better. The you know, the advantage of the tech or the images that show up here, they show up right in your texting, right in your texting app. You don't have to click off. But they're not like super high resolution. They're not intended for long videos. The mobile phone carriers have limits on the size, and so they don't work for like really big videos, but they work for short marketing little snippets, things like this that grab people's attention. There's some tools online that will take a kind of make a slideshow, I guess, in an animated GIF, and let you send that. So you could say if you've got 4 or 5 or maybe fades or something like that. I think there's some tools so you can find that. Basically, you upload your images to this tool, and then it'll give you the file that you can put into GetOiling. But anyway, yeah, the animations are really cool. I don't know if you've noticed that, but I think Ashley's been using them or sending them out lately in some of our emails for at least, I think, the weekly work session, if I remember right. There's been more and more little animations in emails too. This also works in emails. This isn't just texting for the animations. That's kind of a system-wide support. Emails, on your web pages, blog posts, landing pages, you can put these animations in there now too. So
basically
one more
anywhere
tool
you would add
in the
a
toolbox.
photo, you could do this, right?
Correct. Anywhere you can add a photo in the system, it'll allow you to put that animation in there. So yeah, okay, cool. Let's see. So quick questions following up that. So like, would this chat feature work here in the UK? Suzanne, I think I'd have to check into that and whether I can like acquire a UK phone number for you. But I do know that, you know, GetOiling includes, I think, US and Canada phone numbers for sending, but you can send and receive anywhere that, you know, we support, which is over, I think, 200 countries that you can send and receive text from. The picture messages, my understanding is that it varies based on the ones that don't. You get a link to the picture that's sent. So either way, your picture comes through. Some people just have to click on it, but kind of depends. So we could play around with that if you want to. Maybe ping me after the call and I can experiment with that. I can look into whether or not the UK has phone numbers that we could use for sending, but you can definitely get one and play with it, and a US or Canada number, I guess, and play with it and then see what that looks like for you, how that works. Awesome. Okay, so those are kind of the the top few there. There's a couple of other changes here that we've come across. And one of them is, you've probably seen this. If you've been sending any emails lately or writing any blog posts, you've probably seen a change. When you send an email now, the editor is a little bit different. This was, just the way software works. There's always upgrades. This is a piece that we license from someone else that we use to save time. So, we don't have to make it, and it does all sorts of cool things. But basically, we've ended up, if you remember right, it used to be two rows. This kind of cleans it up a little bit. All the tools are still there. And in fact, I think there's actually even more. But there's like these 4 little sections, where it says more text, more paragraph, more rich, and more miscellaneous. You can click those and it expands down some extra options for you. So, the common ones are out and always visible for you, bold, italic, underline, font size, family, color. But then if you want to go into a little bit more of a strike through, subscript, superscript, you can even clear out the formatting, add background colors, that sort of thing. That's under there. Got more paragraph formatting options here. I think these were all there before. And the rich text options, we've got, the same things that were there before, including an additional horizontal line. The awesome insert YL link with member number button. I think we've demoed before, and then a few other things. I think there's even a select all now and undo redos. So it certainly takes up less space in the screen when it's collapsed. So that's just a change, sort of the normal course of keeping things up to date with the platform. And so the next feature, this is, I think, it's pretty cool. I'll touch on it briefly. We might be covering this in depth, like how to use it and benefit from it in a more comprehensive fashion, but I'll show it to you here. And so under campaigns, there is something now that, and this is for premium and higher plans. Under campaigns, if you're setting up a campaign, previously you've been able to schedule, I should say, well, I'll show you here. So you can pick the day, for example, that the campaign goes out. So it's going to send on day 0, which basically means when the campaign is added to the contact, whether they sign up on our landing page or whether you've added the campaign to them manually or whatever. The moment that it's added, within a minute or so, they'll get an email that's sent on day 0 or a message, it's, email or text. And then you can choose like, okay, day 1, day 5, day 7, that sort of thing. Now, the change here, 2 changes actually. You'll see this column over here. This is new. And again, this is on premium and higher. You can now specify per message how it is sent. And there's several options here. By default, it's default. And basically what default means is it does what it used to do, which is follow each contact's preference. So every contact has that. And then you can choose now whether it's sent by email or text. So if you want to do what, this, you can say like, okay, you're going to get 2 messages, one by text, one by email, just to multiple touch points. And now for the other cool thing is you can choose when they're sent. And, so this advanced feature, when you slide that open, now you can choose like, okay, when are these messages, the day 0 messages sent right away? And you can add multiples and space them out. Or for day 1 and later, you can pick a time of day. So if you want, previously all the campaign messages have been sent at 5 p.m. Central, I think, give or take, depending on daylight savings. But now I think you have the option, at least on premium and higher, to come in here and choose a specific time of the day, which means you could probably do, obviously you don't want to flood people with this, but you could choose one in the morning and the afternoon, do 2 a day if you want to. So there's all sorts of cool options here between the 2. And, I know that certain people are available at certain times. This is great. I mean, this really actually works really well with the vaults as well, time unlock vaults, because I think this will help out with the timing, so you can coordinate the email with the time that they can get into the vaults with the campaign. So not vaults, but the lessons, sorry, in classes. But anyway, so yeah, this advanced campaigns is something we're super excited about. This just came out a couple days ago, and wanted to share that with all of you here.
Gwen said choosing the time is wonderful.
Awesome, it's great to hear.
It is.
And yeah, so Gwen had a follow-up question with the editor here that I missed earlier. Is there a way to insert your sign-up link? I believe there is a tag for that. What is it called? It's something like why all sign up or sign up link. Can't remember if that's on here. I'll have to look that up and see. There's no button or tag right now. I mean, I think there is a tag. I just don't know what it is offhand. But you can always like go to your website and actually this is a customized website here. I don't know. Oh yeah, so I've got to place an order. You can always go over here and just like right click and copy your place an order link. Whoops, copy it and then paste that in there too. So that's kind of a nice shortcut. So cool. So those are kind of the new features. If we have questions, certainly let them, feel free to drop them in the chat and the Q&A panel. And okay, so we've got a question here in the first two people. What would you recommend to send them as far as email welcome before your kit arrives and what frequency? I'm not savvy in my GetOiling, it's not set up yet. If you have something for older people like me that are trying hard and learning new stuff, thank you and appreciate your support. So actually we do have a campaign that's built in for new members. So let's say you get a new member. Let me go back over to my demo contact. If you want to add that, you can add a campaign to them. Just click on their name once you found them in the contact manager, and you can scroll down to campaigns. Make sure this person doesn't have it. Click add, and then it'll be sort of categorized here between the ones that are in your account and the ones that are built in. And there is one called new members, and we've got one for the four main countries that we support, plus an all countries one. Actually, no, I don't think we have yeah, there's a global new members. Okay, so the USA new members, for example, and hit add, and then it will send that out. And what that is, it's a series of 6 emails that kind of walks them through on a daily basis. Or no, I think it's every other day. I can go look at it and see what's in there under settings and campaigns. And you can do this as well. It does show up in your account. You can't edit it, but you can see what's in there. Let me go over to this page here. It's always at the end. So the USA new members campaign. Okay, so it's spaced out here. Yeah, you get a couple of them, like you get one the day after you add the campaign, and then another one's arrived by then. And then it kind of spaces out every few days over the course of a month. So just a little drip. And yeah, so hopefully that's, this could be a template for you. If you want to take what's there and copy it, this is another nice feature. Going back to the previous screen, where you have the list of campaigns, click this little icon that looks like the stacked sheets of paper. You can click on that, give it a name, and then it will let you edit it. And so then you're able to make whatever changes that you want to it, and then you can put that campaign on a contact instead of yours. So or instead of the built-in one. So then you can personalize a little bit. Some people like the basic content of it, because it kind of goes through, here's the Young Living contact information. This is how you place orders in the virtual office, that sort of thing. And then, but then you can personalize it to however you want, add a message, delete a message, move it around, totally up to you. So hopefully that helps. But yeah, I think basically if you follow that template, to answer your question, this one sends them 2 emails before their kit arrives, and then I think 4 after the kit arrives with some usage instructions on that. So
and
cool.
The one thing that I wanted to add too is that I know that the person that had asked the question about the email welcome and stuff like that is that, if you do have any other questions, because I see that you said that you do not have a GetOiling account yet, if you do have other questions that that you can't think of right now, that you think of later, please email in to customer support at info@getoiling.com. So we can certainly help you to guide you as far as what plan might be better for you, and to help answer more questions that you might have that maybe you don't don't have right now, or whatever, as you are looking at all the plans that we have.
Awesome, thanks. Do we have some more any more questions over here? I'm just looking through the chat.
Shelly actually is here. She had submitted a question to us ahead of time, and she's put it over here in our chat. Shelly set up a kiosk landing page to use for a vendor event, and she's not seeing that the campaign is delivering after someone's opting into the landing page. So I think what maybe we could do is just show a basic setup of a kiosk landing page, so that she knows how to attach the campaign to it correctly, making sure that we have a campaign on that landing page. And for those of you who don't know what a
Yeah.
kiosk landing page is, we're going to show you what that is too, and how it can help you.
Awesome. Yeah. And Shelly, if it turns out, there's something specific, we might have to look at, I can look into that. I think I saw your email come in, so I can maybe look at your account and see if there's something specific there. But generally speaking, for everyone else, landing pages, so they're a great way to get people to register for you or register on your website and get the lead to go right into your contact manager, so you don't have to retype. Now, what kiosk mode is you can see this, there's this column. This is kiosk mode. These are all these landing pages that are in this account. But what that does, normally a landing page, when you register on it, it takes you somewhere afterwards. So like you register and it'll say something like, hey, here's my, download my 5 steps to healthy living or something like that. And that's great. And then after that, they register and they'll be taken somewhere. Maybe they'll download the guide or something, whatever your destination is. Now what kiosk mode does, this is awesome for in-person, and this was designed for in-person event registration. So the typical scenario is this: you're at a vendor event, you've got some gift basket or something that you're giving away that you want people to sign up for, so you can get their names. And there's a sheet of paper there, and when you're done, you've got 100 people on your sheet of paper, and you can read the handwriting for about half of them. And then you have to like squint and try to figure out what they were doing as you retype all this into your system. Now, kiosk mode, you can create a landing page that opens up, and what it does not then, once you push the button and register, it does not send them to whatever the destination is that you normally do. It just puts them back to the landing page, clears out the boxes for the next person. So in other words, instead of the paper sign-up form, you can have this one. You can have a computer set up and people can register right there at your event. Then you don't have to worry about reading handwriting or anything like that. It's just all in your contact manager, saves you a whole bunch of time. And but that only works with kiosk mode. And let's see here. So I'll show you how to set that up. And Shelly, if you're having problems, I'll definitely check that out after the call here. But when you're editing the landing page, under settings and page settings, there is a campaign to use here, what should be added to their account afterwards. So we're sending that to them, as well as you can tag it. And then I believe they are shown the message after registration, and then they are sent. They're not sent to either of these places with kiosk mode. So yeah, so it's great for the in-person classes or anything like that. Another option, well, it's probably, yeah, I think this is really good for that, where they can get their name and email, and you can even require a phone if you want to. That's usually too much for people. From our experience with working with this, typically people don't really want to give up their phone number, unless maybe it's some mega prize, but occasionally that works. But most of the time, name and email are very good for requirements. But yeah, it saves you a ton of time re-entering. That's what it's for. And for Shelly, yeah, I'll look in your account here and see what's going on. Maybe I have to test it out myself and see what we can find and what's going on there, see what's going on with the campaign for you. All right, we got more questions. Let's see here. Previewing video. Okay, so Kathy asked, this was back on, I think, the text video conversation. So we can't send MP4 converted into video by Vimeo by text. Yeah, you send a link to a video. So that is, I think, the right answer there. Unlimited, let's see here, the gifts, going down here, kiosk event. Okay, the accented characters. Now, Kathy had a question about that. Like, how does that work for if you want to add accented characters? When you're editing a page or landing page or whatever, I mean, it really depends, as I think Ashley has put in the chat here, it's more of a keyboard thing. But like, yeah, as she said, oh, there's even a spelling error. But so like if you hold down on Mac, I think if you hold down a key, it'll pop up all the accents. On Windows, there's this tool called, I think, Character Map. I did some research on that. And it's a little tool that pops up a little box on your screen, and you can choose from all the accented characters. So if you got Mac, you just simply hold down the key that you want the accent on. All the vowels are obvious ones. I think, even some of, I'm not sure. Yeah, some of the consonants have those as well. But Mac makes it pretty simple. Windows, you got to use the character map app. But yeah, we do have people that have Spanish sites on here, so they've written it all out that way. All right.
All right, we had some questions that were entered via email ahead of time. Were there any others that we want to cover here before we move on to those?
I don't see any in the chat list, so I think we can move on to those.
All right, fabulous. All right, so let's see. Marie asked, and this is in regards to the two-part training, which actually turned into 3, because last week we talked about promotions. This is around taking your Young Living events online and then taking that online event and turning it into an evergreen shareable resource. Now, the question, first she says that she made her drip campaign, which she emailed out to herself. I think she had forgotten to put the numbers, right? So day 0 means it's going to go out immediately. Maybe we can show a campaign to demonstrate this. When you create a campaign inside of GetOiling, the default is 0. That means that it's going to go out right away. Now, if you want it to go out, one right away and then one the next day or 2 days later, you change those numbers accordingly. So what she was asking about was about the post-event campaign. So basically, after somebody attends a live event, online or in person, you want to have a drip of information that goes out to them on an automated basis so that you aren't having to think about and go through the process of emailing every single one of those people a little something just to keep them engaged, to keep them, you top of mind with them manually, right? So that's the benefit there. In terms of scheduling this for after the event, what I would do is not schedule your campaign for after the event, but have a reminder for yourself to apply the campaign to the attendees of the event immediately following. So when you create, when people are loaded into your system, right, when they get onto a landing page or they sign up for something, you are able to, in whatever tool you're using, have a tag associated with that event, right? And when I say event, this could be a landing page, it could be, whatever in the system. So what you're going to then do is take your contact manager, search for that tag, and then you're going to apply the campaign to those people. Right? So you could do this after a vendor event. If people enter in kiosk mode for a vendor event, you go and you pull out that tag. So let's call this one Discover, right? That Greg's demonstrating right here. So these are all people who signed up at a vendor event or, came to an in-person event. And now what you're going to do is you're going to go to this actions menu right over here, and you're going to go to add a campaign or follow-up plan. And then you find the follow-up or the campaign that you want to use. Then you apply it to them and it starts right there. So if you're going to use an event after the fact, or if you're going to use a campaign after an event, you want to go and apply the campaign after the event is over. So make a reminder for yourself for that. Let's see, now when people, another question that she had was about when people RSVP. Now when you're creating an event inside of GetOiling, you are able to associate a campaign with that event. And what that means is that as soon as they sign up, maybe immediately, and then maybe the next day or 5 minutes later, or however you like to set that up, they'll get some, first a confirmation from you about the event, thanking them for registering, and then maybe some additional information, that'll get them excited about going to the event. So there is a case for using a campaign initially and then having a post-event campaign as well. It's worth doing the additional work because when you start thinking about how you can reuse these things into the future and how much it can do for you without you having to do all of that stuff manually well into the future over and over again, it becomes a really attractive prospect. So when new people RSVP, if that campaign is attached to your event inside of GetOiling, that's going to deliver immediately. But anything that you do post-event, you need to grab their tags and then apply those campaigns in kind. All right, and then one more. I had done all the steps from the videos. Did I miss where you show how to add the slides from Grow Workspace to Zoom, or is there another video? I did not demonstrate that because depending on your system, it may be wildly different. I believe though, what I did when I was in that Zoom is they have in the Grow bundles, and the one that we used for KidSense, it's actually a PDF file. And so I pulled the PDF file up. So I'm in Zoom and Zoom is recording. I pull the PDF file up full screen, and then I just either scroll down or hit the down button on my keyboard when I want to change slides. And so it records me talking, and it's moving through just like it was a PowerPoint presentation, but it's a PDF. So just go full screen in Zoom and then talk through those slides. And we've got several people have sent us their videos that they have recorded of them doing this. So you guys are doing a fantastic job. All right, so Marie, I hope that helps. I don't know if you were able to make it. I know you were going to be on a call with a prospect, but if you're here, let us know. Let's see. Mary asks, I'm planning to put some dedication videos together for the starter kit intro that I can use if people can't make an event. We'll look at the training to help me with this. Plan to use the custom, I'm looking for the question, sorry. All right, here we go. Looking forward to the new enhancements and using the website to its fullest. That being said, I want to look at the content of the newsletters if people ask for it. Can I create and have automatically sent my own intro newsletter that uses my voice? Yes. So we have a feature. If you go to contact settings over here on the left of your screen, you're going to see a thing called saved replies. Saved replies are where you format your newsletters. Like these are your templates. All of this stuff here, you can copy it. You can make a new one. You can take content from a third party, such as Grow Workspace or many others, and paste the pretty pictures, the information, whatever you want in here. And I believe 1000%, if you are going to use third-party copy or images or whatever, that you do adapt it to your voice, because the people who know you know how you sound. And if your emails don't sound like you, they're probably not going to want to keep opening them, right? So, so when you create that, you create this newsletter, and then you have a saved reply. And I guess the next thing, maybe what we can do, because we already have some saved in here, Greg, if we could go over to campaigns and just show how you can take a saved reply and just add it into a campaign message.
Sure, yeah. So when you're editing campaigns, which is under context settings and then campaigns, I'll pop into one of these campaigns that I already have written here to make it a little bit easier. Coming down to the bottom one, you'll see the saved replies here. Now, what happens with the saved reply, they have both a subject and a message body. The subject is replaced with the saved reply, and then wherever you have your cursor inside the message body is where that will appear. So depending on your saved reply, you might want to make sure that you're positioned correctly. So I'll try to insert it at the top here. I'll put it at the top, then click saved reply, and I'll pick this, this farmer's market saved reply that I had just looked at, and it inserts it right there. Now we do have, just to show you something that's a little bit more exciting than one little line of text. Let me undo that one. And we have some in here that are called like newsletter templates, and these templates from GetOiling are kind of built in for you to use. Like if you have there's this lavender template, for example, and it pulls up this nice looking image, you can just replace the text with what you want. We've got some filler text in here for you to do whatever you want to. So the saved replies can have both graphics and text in there, and link to videos or whatever you want to. So you can really have all that all in one place, and it saves a bunch of time when you're doing that. The saved replies are also available in the contact manager when you're sending emails.
Mm-hmm. And if you want to, say, using the saved reply templates that we have, if you want to switch around some images and some formatting, you could have a saved reply for every event that you do, and then just change out the event photo, the time and date details and things like that. And so when you send a confirmation email in a campaign, you've got something that's 75% already made and done for you. So it's very easy to work through that and get that done. We've got a lot of campaign questions today. Let's see.
So regarding this, she says, do I have to add pics in my text in message?
You don't have
Um,
to, but you can.
Yep, totally optional. You can add pictures or you can not add pictures. If you're sending a broadcast message, or you don't have two-way texting, yeah, then there's a difference in the number of marketing credits that uses. The text without the pictures typically use fewer than the ones with the picture, unless you have like a really long message. It gets complicated. There's a little calculator, a credits calculator, when you're sending your text message through the contact manager that'll tell you how much it'll use. Let's see
Okay.
here.
I think. All right. Yeah. So I think we can, if we missed anything, you guys definitely feel free, like Amanda said earlier, send us an email, info@getoiling.com, or if you're here, of course, put it into the Q&A or the chat. I didn't
Greg, do
realize,
you want
Amanda.
to? No.
Yeah.
Okay. Cindy asked, how do I find out how many marketing credits do I have? I have two-way texting. Thank you.
Yep, so that's available under, let's see here. That's under My Account Settings, I believe, and then My Plan. And then you'll see a section on the top that says credit usage. It'll show you how many you have for that, basically is per billing period monthly. How many credits were used, how many credits are available. If you want detailed history, you can click on here, the view usage history. It'll go back and show you everything that you've used over time, so you can kind of see what you've done, how many text messages you've sent, how many emails you've sent, how many credits remain, that sort of thing. So that is where you find that at, under the My Account Settings and My Plan.
And then Greg, did you show, I may have missed it here, did you show her that, or show if you need more credits, how to do that as well?
Yeah, I mean, if you have, so there's a button here, if you have a monthly plan, you can purchase extra credits on the fly right here, kind of one time or recurring. And if you have an annual plan, currently you have to contact us at info@GetOiling, and we can figure out a package so we can add something on in the middle of a month or whatever that you need. So you can definitely get more credits there if you need to. They're pretty inexpensive. They work out to about $1 per 1,000, and then you can buy them at different bundles, bundle sizes.
And then Gwen asked, when you receive a text on the two-way texting plan, how does it notify me?
Yeah, so it notifies you in a couple different ways. You'll get a text on your phone. You do have to have, I think, in order to use the two-way texting, but you probably want to check this anyway. When you click on your name here, you can make sure your mobile phone number is put in there, because that's the mobile phone number that it will send you the message alert on. You'll get a text with a link to the message. Basically, it sends you a link to this page here, which also works on your phone, and then you can just reply right in there. So, and then you also, if you're in the app, if you have GetOiling open, there will be a little window that pops up here that says new text message from so-and-so, and you can just click reply right there while you're working on something else. Click reply, type your message, hit send. It'll send a reply back. So you can, you don't even have to jump off to your other page. But if you want to, that's part of the reason this chat button opens in a new tab. You can keep that tab open so you can have that, running history of what's going on there. So it does alert you in a couple of different ways, and the texting, I think, will, texting your phone, I think, rises above the notifications more than email. I do believe it does send an email notification to, tries to get you in all the channels.
Awesome.
Let's see here. Okay, so Sue asked, I missed the answer. Does it work in the UK? And I'm assuming, well, in general, yes, the system works. In the UK, we have people from there. If you're talking about texting, which is the more specific question that usually arises, yeah, you can send and receive, when you set up two-way texting, you get a US or Canadian phone number, and I'd have to look into whether or not the UK, whether we can acquire UK phone numbers through our system. Sometimes we can't, but you can send to over 200 countries with GetOiling. So yeah, you can text basically anywhere you want to. If you have two-way texting, people then can reply in most cases. I mean, it varies by country. There's a lot of countries supported, so not all of them function the same way. Not all of them have the same cell phone infrastructure, or even the same, smartphones are not, there's still flip phones in some parts of the world, so some of that stuff might not work. But generally speaking, if you're texting a modern country, whatever, I think it should work just fine from the US and Canadian numbers. All right. Anything else here?
Yeah, actually, and I didn't realize this. I just saw this in the Q&A. Suzette was asking us a great question about vault setup. This is basically, for those of you who don't know, that we have a member area, and not just that we do. If you have a GetOiling site at Basic and Above, you do too. And there are ways for you to categorize the information that you put into these. Think of them kind of like Facebook groups. You know, you might have one Facebook group that is public facing so that anybody can come in and generally learn about oils and wellness. Maybe you have another one with more exclusive recipes and promotional information for your members. And then you've got another that is, you know, sort of your super secret vault for business builders. You have the ability with your GetOiling account to choose who gets access to what. And Suzette was asking about how we can set the vaults up so that the general public can sign up for some, members can access others, and business builders can access all of them.
Yeah, great question here. So there's a little bit of setup, but everything you're going to be looking for is under member area under my site. That's where you'll be doing all this setup. Now, as far as I'll start with the public, you know, the general public aspect of it. There's a couple different ways you can do that. The simplest way is when you're setting up your member area. When you click on this one, there's a checkbox that says allow any website visitor to sign up for your member area. And what this will do is if you're using one of the built-in website themes like this, and this is actually a custom menu, so it's not the case here, but it will automatically add a link. I forget where it is, but somewhere in here, it'll add a link in your menu to your member area. If you have a custom menu, then you have to go in there and add it yourself. But this allows anyone to sign up for your member area. They will basically go to whatever your website domain is /members is the URL. So, I mean, I could probably do that here. I'm logged in, so it's not going to show me the login page, but you can, then you can choose what vault that they get in, and optionally a campaign if you want to add it. Vaults usually they have campaigns attached too, so sometimes the member area campaign is redundant, but depending on what it is, you can choose. So in this case, you want to check this box and set it to whatever your general public vault is, prospects vault, recipes, or, you know, whatever, something that's appealing to people so that they would want to join up. Another option is to use a landing page, and this works actually for really any of this level of access, general public, members, and business builders. Now, typically the way that it works, you know, landing pages work for all, but typically the way people will set it up, because the number of people is potentially bigger at each of those levels. Like if you were business builders, then you have members, then you have the general public. So the general public, usually there's some public sign-up page. Members, depending on how many members you have, you can either add people manually to these vaults in the member area, or you can set up a landing page for people to register. So, you know, if you've got a team that's got 5 or 10 people, you can add, it's probably easier just to add those people individually, and then as new members come in, you can add them. If your team is at the point where you're adding many members, you can just create a landing page for that, and I'll show you that here in a little bit, where people can self-register. And so you could include that in like a new member campaign. Welcome to my team. This is how you get in, you know, access all my resources. My members only resources are here. Then include a link to that landing page, and then they can self-register and get in there. And business builders, again, kind of the same thing, depending on how many you have. You know, some of the bigger leaders will have many to the point where they just want to have a landing page for these people, and then they'll send those out to their business builders, the landing page that is. In most cases, business builders are, you know, relatively few, and so they're usually added manually. Let me show you that manual adding, because that's probably the quickest thing to do. So let me pull up my contact here, and I haven't gone into the vault setup yet. That was just the member area setup. But once you have a vault, which is inside of the member area, I'll cover that in a little bit. You can find your contact, click on their name, scroll down to vaults, click add, and then you get to choose which vault that you want to put them in. So in this case, let's say this is the members access or the business builders access. You can do that. Let's say this is the one. You can click add, and then that will add them. You can add them to multiple vaults. If they're a business builder, they're also members. You can add them to both, which would let them in. And you can also add your business builder to the general public one as well. So to do that through a landing page, it's a little more complex, but you can set it up. It's actually pretty simple. But so you set up your landing page, however you want to do that. You know, create a new one, or edit an existing one, however you want to do that. I'll click on this one. It's under page settings here, page settings here in the upper right. But just like you can put people on specific campaigns and tag them, after they register, down here, there's an add to vaults. So you can choose, okay, whenever they register on this landing page, they're going to get into my fun vault. That's my members. I'll just pretend that's my fun or my members vault here. And then you can save that. And when they register on that, they'll automatically get a link to join that, because they have to set up a password first to get in there. And that'll send them an email basically to get access to the vault. And then, yeah, for business builders, you could do the same thing. You can set up a landing page. For most teams that have a relatively small number of business builders, then I just suggest adding them manually to that vault. Stepping back for a moment, for those of you who might not be familiar with like what are vaults and member area. So the member area is like you get one member area with your GetOiling system. And then within that member area, you can have, we call them vaults. But a vault is like a combination of a Facebook group and online learning. So you can have classes in there, discussion rooms, resource pages, and all sorts of cool things you can create under the member area here. I'll jump into one of these vaults and show you kind of what's in here. So like this one here has a page and a discussion room and 2 online classes, for example. This one only has 2 pages and a discussion room. This just has a page. So you can really customize it however you want to. You can have as, based on your plan, there are some limits for the pages, but within in the classes, discussion rooms are unlimited. You can have as many of those as you want. Within your plan limits, you can add as many pages as you want to, or online classes as well. So those can be set up pretty easily. So I'll jump into here and I'll click on this one. And you can set it up here. I'm not going to go into detail on this. We did, I'll probably put this in the chat here, but we did set up I think it's called, was it member training? I think is the URL. Let me double check that. I just put that in the chat, but I'm pretty sure.
GetOiling.com/member training should be it.
Yes, so this is the link, GetOiling.com/member training. If I can type. Apparently I'm having trouble typing, but yeah, that's the URL there. It takes you to this page. You can sign up here and then get in. Now, just a note, if you have a GetOiling account, this is not your GetOiling login. It's actually a login to a member area, so it's separate. You have to set it up separately. But once you get in, then you'll have, I think we've got 5 or 6 videos in here that go through all the details of like how to set this up. What's the type of content you can put in there? What are the discussion rooms? You can just to show you, you can. This is kind of what the discussion room looks like. You can kind of like a little Facebook group. People can comment back and forth. Basically a Facebook group without all the distractions of social media popping up in your feed as well. So cool. All right. Any other questions here?
Suzette was asking how to link the landing page to the vault.
Okay. Yeah, when you're setting up the landing page, and this also goes for that page builder too, if you're using that for lead capture. When you're editing the landing page under settings, page settings, there's the option down here to add to specific vaults. So you can add people to 1 or more vaults at the same time. So there was somebody recently that I was helping who she'd set up, I think 10 vaults, 9 of which were, I think her business builders got into all 10, I think. And then her members got into like 9 of them or 8 of them, something like that. And then there was 1. So she was able to put them all in here on a landing page and get into all the vaults at once. And when you're viewing the member area, you'll see all the vaults on the home screen, and you can customize this a little bit more than this sort of bare bones looking one. You can even put in images if you want to and customize the labels, but that just lets you go in there. And as you can see here, this is one other thing here. This specific vault or this specific demo account that I'm using has a custom font set up for it. So that's why it's this kind of fun italic, which is also available in the system. I think this is on premium and higher plans, but that's under my site settings. There's a custom font option. We covered this a few weeks ago, but you can customize that. So that, customize sort of the colors and fonts throughout the system, which then affects your member area too, kind of ties it in with all the branding that you've got going on. So if your member area has different fonts, that's why we've got this one set up. By default, it uses a different font. Let's see. So Suzette says my vaults go down the page and not side by side. I believe that is based in your screen size. So if your screen is big enough, it'll do that. But if you shrink it down, it's gonna, you can see it's kind of shrinking a little bit here, and then it'll suddenly pop into one column. And that's because GetOiling is what's called mobile responsive, which means it works on mobile devices too. This is kind of what it would look like when you're on your phone. But as your screen gets bigger, when you pull that back, you'll see it's going to grow with it and eventually become two columns. So that's very likely why your vaults are going down the page and not side by side.
Awesome. Just a quick thing, just because we have talked about tags and we've talked about campaigns and vaults. In a lot of the same places, you will find these things together. So, and they are very, they're strong examples of how you can use this system to be more efficient in how you use your time. So what you can do is when you are doing your regular, biweekly or however frequently you update from the VO into your system, you can find the people who are tagged as being on Essential Rewards. For instance, if you have a special vault for your Essential Rewards members, when you're uploading those people into the system, you can tag them as, or actually they're tagged as Essential Rewards already, right, Greg? Our system does that for you. And then you can add, you can actually add to the vault right away. You can, if you're filtering your people by tag, so who's a prospect, who's a member, who's a builder, you can actually go and search that tag, pull up all of the people with that tag, and then mass apply the vault, which now gives them access. And of course, depending on the campaign that you have attached to that vault, it can give them instructions on how to use what's in it and so on. All right,
Yeah,
Suzette would like us to show what that looks like. Just applying vault access from, say, the contact manager from a tag.
Okay, cool. When you are importing, yeah, there is the, let's see here. So click on manage. You can filter down by, the essential rewards that Ashley was just talking about. There's a checkbox here if you want to find everyone who's on ER, for example, or during the import process, which is under settings. I'll show you that quickly here. I won't actually import a file, but you go through these steps. This shows you how to get the file from Young Living, and then you pick the file and start import. On the next page, there'll be a little field where you can type in the tags. So it'll tag them as they're being imported. And then through your contact manager, then you can filter by both the essential rewards and or tags. And once let's pull somebody up. Let's say that this is your business builder tag or your team member tag, whatever. You can then under actions, you can hit this add campaign follow-up planner tags, and then it'll apply the vault, and you can add or remove and hit apply. This little checkbox only shows up if the vault is, a paid vault. There's a way of requiring payments to get in if you've got other non-Young Living content that you sell. If you're doing coaching or that sort of thing, you can actually sell access to your vaults, create a membership area and all that. But that's how you do that with adding it. You hit apply. Now, if you just want to apply it to a few people, there's a few options. So you can just check the box, and then under actions, you can make sure, just do the same thing. Notice it's selected contacts here now. You can click that. It's going to come up with the same box, and then you can apply. The other option is if you have a very big list and it can take a long time to apply the vault access to all of them. Under filters, there's actually a sort option. And if you just did an import, this is really handy. On the sorting, there's an option to sort by the contact creation date, newest to oldest. And so you can filter it, and it'll order it by the contacts that were added the most recently. And then you can apply, maybe you want to select everything on this page. Maybe you just get the first page, then you don't have to worry about, if you've got a big list of 2,000 people or something, you don't have to go and reapply that to all of them. That'll just allow you to filter it there. So that's another common question, like after the import, who are my new members? So you can go in there and filter and then sort by recently added, and those will show to the top.
Awesome. Jessica had a question. Do only certain package levels get access to a vault and member resources? Yes, but it's most of our plans. So if you are at basic and above, then you get access to at least one vault in your member area, and a lot of other amazing tools that, of course, unlock as you grow in your need for them.
Mhm.
So yes, you
Yeah,
can get
and there,
started for $1 at basic and above as well if you want to get started trying to use these features to grow your business.
absolutely. Yeah, and if you happen to be, if you've been a customer for a really long time, there's some really old pricing packages that don't have the member area. So if you happen to be in one of those, just send us an email. We can look up your account and see what's going on. There's a small add-on to bring in the member area to your package, because we had done some different pricing many years ago, and there's a great number of people who are still on that. So awesome. I think that's it. Are you guys seeing anything else here? I think that's all the questions I'm seeing.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. If you guys, last call while we're still here, thanks for sticking around. You guys had some fantastic questions this week, emailed and here live. I can really tell you're putting this stuff to use. And we're really excited to have the opportunity to, roll up our sleeves and get to work here with you every week. So if there are any topics that you would like to see covered, certainly send us an email. If it's something that we have covered already, we can actually point you in the direction of that. But if there's something that we haven't, or it's something worth revisiting, which many things are, then this is the kind of thing that we can get together and work on these live sessions, especially if you're in the system, you're trying to get things done, you're like, but how do I make the technology do what I want it to? Like, that's really what this is for. So awesome. Thank you, Greg, for making all of these amazing updates to the system. This is such a powerful tool. It's not even a tool. It's like it's the everything. It's the Leatherman. It's the toolbox. It's Home Depot.
Yeah, right.
Everything you need.
Cool.
So awesome. Well, you guys, looks like we're good to go on questions. Thanks for being here, and we look forward to seeing you on a future session.
Thanks everybody.
Guys.
Bye.
Y'all have a great week.